Hello guys, welcome to Supremacy classes. Guys, be ready for a dictation from Model Speed Dictations published by late Dr. G.D. Bist. 5 seconds. Start. So the discussion was going on at length, and what happened ultimately? Out of those discussions, somebody said, "This is the formula." No, no, there is another formula. There is third formula, and there is fourth formula. Ultimately, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the main architect of the Constitution and the chairman of the drafting committee, said it should be taken as a concluding part of the debate. I quote, "Now, sir, with regard to the numerous amendments that have been moved to this article, there are really three issues that have been raised." He has summarized three issues on the question of consultation or concurrence or two-thirds majority for parliament to pass, etc., etc. He has framed three issues. The first is how the judges of the Supreme Court should be appointed. This is the first issue. Now, grouping the different amendments that are related to this particular matter, I find three different proposals. I mean Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, not me. The first proposal is that the judges of the Supreme Court should be appointed with the concurrence of the Chief Justice. That was one view which I have already stated. The other view is that the appointments made by the President should be subject to the confirmation of two-thirds vote by the Parliament. The third suggestion is that they should be appointed in consultation with the Council of States. Somebody suggested that it should be in consultation with this House, the Council of States. So, there were various suggestions, but Dr. Ambedkar referred to these three issues. Then Dr. Ambedkar continued, there can be no difference of opinion in the House that our judiciary must both be independent of the executive, and in consultation there is an Article 48 which says that the judiciary should be separated from the executive. We have already adopted and must also be competent in itself, and the question is how these two objects could be secured. Judiciary is not only to be independent, but it should also be competent in itself. That is the moot question. How the judiciary can achieve to be competent in itself? Is it through nepotism, high handedness? It can't be. Therefore, what has Dr. Ambedkar suggested? There are two ways in which this matter is governed in other countries. In Great Britain, the appointments are made by the crown without any kind of limitation whatsoever, which means by executive of the day. There is the opposite system in the United States, where, for instance, appointment of officers of the Supreme Court as well as other officers of the state shall be made only with the concurrence of the Senate in the United States. So, Dr. Ambedkar has referred to Great Britain and the United States as to how judges and other officials of the Supreme Court were appointed. It seems to me, Dr. Ambedkar says, in the circumstances in which we live today, as the sense of responsibility has not grown to the same extent to which we find it in the United States, it would be dangerous to leave the appointments to be made by the president without any kind of reservation or limit. That is to say, merely on the advice of the executive of the day. He had also advocated that there should not be given any unflinching power to the president for appointment of Supreme Court judges. There must be some restrictions because we have not yet emerged as a nation to the height of the United States. Indirectly, this is what he wanted to say if I have correctly understood the purport and the meaning of what he had said. Now, sir, again he says, similarly, it seems to me that making every appointment that the executive wishes to make subject to the concurrence of the legislature will not also be a very suitable proposition, which meant neither appointment by judges was desirable nor this is desirable that for every appointment the executive has to seek approval of the parliament. That is also not desirable. Then what was desirable and what should be, which is in between, and which is a balancing act or a compromise? Then what he prescribed and what he advocated was that apart from its being cumbrous, it also involves the possibility of the appointment being influenced by political pressure and political considerations. The draft article, that is Article 80, which I had read at the outset, says in consultation with the Chief Justice, the judges would be appointed by the President under the hand and seal. This is the draft article, therefore, steers a middle course. It does not make the President the Supreme Court and absolute authority in the matter of making appointments. It does not also import the influence of the legislature. The provision in the article is that there should be consultation of persons who are well qualified to give proper advice in matters of this sort, and my judgment is that this sort of provision may be regarded as sufficient for the moment. He continued. With regard to the question of the concurrence of the Chief Justice, he dealt with this part very widely. It seems to me that those who advocate that proposition seem to rely implicitly both on the impartiality of the Chief Justice and the soundness of his judgment. I personally feel that there is no doubt that the Chief Justice is a very eminent person, but after all, the Chief Justice is a man with all the feelings, all the sentiments, and all the prejudice which we as common people have. So, he is not a great human being or a greater human being. The Chief Justice is also a human being like all other human beings, which Dr. Ambedkar tried to propagate and convince the members of the Constituent Assembly very successfully. He continued to say, I think to allow the Chief Justice practically a veto upon the appointment of judges is really to transfer the authority to the Chief Justice, which we are not prepared to vest in the President or the government of the day. Stop. सो गाइस ये डिक्टेशन थी अराउंड 1000 वर्ड की डिक्टेशन है 100 WPM के राउंड में। आई होप सो आप लोग इसे अच्छे से लिखे होंगे, अच्छे से इसका ट्रांसक्राइब कीजिएगा। जो भी लोग स्पेशली ESIC NVS की स्किल देने वाले हैं और जिनको भी स्पीड बूस्ट करना है, तो इस तरीके के मैटर लिखने की आप प्रैक्टिस ज़रूर कीजिए। मैंने इसमें काफ़ी फ्लक्चुएशंस भी किए हैं बीच में, ठीक है। तो आपको क्या होगा कि स्पीड को बिल्ड करने में काफ़ी हेल्प करता है। तो आप उस तरीके से, और इसके आउटलाइंस भी मैं यहाँ पे दे दे रहा हूँ, आप लोग देख लीजिए कि किस किस का क्या आउटलाइंस हो सकता है और उससे आपको मदद मिलेगी। तो यदि आपको हमारे इन्फॉर्मेशन डिक्टेशन पसंद आ रहे हैं तो चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। थैंक यू सो मच।